Hello everyone, I am Chaos Wolf, or you can just call me Wolf, and I'm back again for my last game for the marathon. This is going to be CULTIC 100%. So our goal is to get all the kills in every level and find all the secrets. I have with me my commentator, if you would like to introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Jason, or JSauce. I'm the developer of CULTIC, and was a little worried I was going to miss the stream because I woke up this morning with a pretty nasty stomach bug. So I'm just like fingers crossed that I survive this. We'll see what happens. I might be part of the 100% kills. We'll see.
So we go new game casual, and we wait for to skip the intro cutscene, and the timer will begin on the when we load into the level. That's going to be 3, 2, 1, go. Right, so right off the bat, you'll see we move pretty fast. This is done by doing your jump, your kick, and the dodge all in one movement. So you get quite a bit of momentum build up that way. And I'm just gonna set up for these first two secrets. Did this? Please tell me that it did not get the door open. There we go. So there's not going to be a whole lot of skips in this category. It's mainly just knowing where to find everything and having good strat for every combat encounter. And until we get some of the more advanced weapons, we're mainly just going for headshots with our pistol here.
We'll be TNT quick tossing before you know it, though.
So there's some extra supplies in there, but I never really need them. So yeah, those guys were lit up very easily. That plays into a lot of my strategy. Is any of these lanterns we can find, they help us out tremendously. Pretty much on par with using a Molotov. I'm gonna recover that. Now we go back for these guys. There we go. I'm gonna try to get that guy before he's programmed to kick the lantern at his feet towards you.
He does like to do that.
Now we're gonna be heading down here into this mine area, which where things really start to get interesting for this first level.
So that guy is not actually like hard-coded to kick that lantern, but it's like the first thing he sees when he wakes up, so he kicks it. If he happens to choose a random direction facing away from the lantern when you wake him up, then he actually won't kick it, which is nice. Sometimes he tries to kick the barrels at you and winds up hitting his buddies, and that's always pretty funny.
So we're going to be coming up on a secret very shortly. It's I believe there's an achievement tied to it called My Greatest Shame. You want to explain
Yeah.
the story about that, Jason?
Yeah, so when he gets up to the secret, there's a tent up there, but instead of being like a 3D mesh, it's made of voxels. And in the original Cultic demo, yeah, there it is, the voxel tent. And in the original Cultic demo that came out back in 2021, I originally had all the tents as voxel tents, but there's just like so many polygons in them, and it was really eating up like the poly count in the game, and so I switched them all over to meshes instead. But I forgot one, and as a lot of people noticed it and were like, what does this voxel tent mean? Why is this one a voxel? Can you destroy it? Is it like people thought it was like more of like a secret or something other than just me screwing up? So I had to immortalize it by leaving it in the final game.
I'm gonna be locked in here for a moment as I'm gonna plant down 3 TNT bundles for a enemy that's called the Harvester. So you can line up these shots. I believe. Oh, he's too far away. Let me get over here. No, I picked up every single one. Alright, let's pay attention now. Come over here. There we go.
No free field kit. Feels bad.
So I believe those other enemies that are trapped in there with us, that's like the only time they ever appear in this chapter, right?
It is, yeah. They're kind of just like a fake out for the player, because you know they're kind of hanging from the ceiling and being all creepy and creaky on your way in. But they're for the most part pretty harmless. So there's kind of just a fun little misdirection.
Here we go. Now for shipyard. I'm gonna be grabbing the first of my weapon upgrades. Which, do you like to explain the upgrade system?
Yeah, sure. So there's a fairly simple weapon upgrade system in the game. You find weapon parts scattered throughout the maps, and you can use them to purchase upgrades for your weapons, and those range from like more damage, increased capacity, fire rate, and then most guns also have a fourth upgrade that somewhat alters the usage of the weapon, whether that's adding like a burst fire mode or slam firing the grenade launcher, stuff like that. So it's just a fun way that players can really tailor the guns that they use the most to their playstyle. Like if they really like using the Sten a whole lot, then you can make it a lot more accurate and a lot more damage behind it, so it's a much more viable alternative to like the pistol, so you're not trading as much like damage per shot.
I mentioned there's not a whole lot of skips that we do in this category, but the upgrade I grabbed for the shotgun helps us to do a few for this category, and we'll be seeing that very soon here. Whenever first I get a head into the ship and grab a key, and then whenever I'm ready to go up, I'll use the alt fire to give me a boost.
Yeah, that's the fourth upgrade for the shotgun. Basically, it lets you shotgun jump with it by increasing the amount of recoil on it by a lot. It's a good time. If you're a cultist and you see a guy shotgun jumping his way towards you, it's probably just time to give up.
Here's a new enemy right here. That is called a ghost, and when you first encounter them, you're down there in that lower level. And by the way, that was the shotgun jump that we do. Save us from going around. You're locked in that down in that room, and you just see floating barrels. And the first time playing this, it kind of freaks you out. And come to find out that those guys have telekinetic powers. They're very weak, but they can be extremely dangerous.
Yeah, they can. Physics props that are thrown by them do some pretty crazy damage, and they can also like intercept. Like if you throw dynamite in the air, they can intercept it and throw it back at you. And they can also do like a strangle attack on the player, which doesn't do much damage, but it slows you way down. And that can be awful if you're trying to cross a room and there's lots of enemies shooting at you. So they're very much a top priority kind of enemy.
This guy right here in the orange robe is very rare. He just blew himself up.
He's done. I was wondering if he was going to suicide bomb you on your last run. If he gets down below half health, he'll try to do like a kind of a kamikaze attack at the player, and it does a lot of damage.
Oh, we left the shotgunner.
He probably would have blown himself up anyway.
Right, we're done with that side. Now we can leave. And this is the point in the game where the sky opens up.
Hate it when that happens. It'd be interesting in the new update, which I was going to release today until I wound up getting sick. Enemies are a lot more bold about like dropping off of ledges if they can't pathfind you, and so I keep getting surprised by enemies that I'm used to staying up on their perches, and then they drop down and come after me.
Blew that up in my face. Okay, there's usually one or two left. There's one left.
Uh-oh.
I was concerned about this. Okay. For the sake of staying on time for the marathon, I won't go out of my way to hunt down enemies, but yeah, I don't see them anywhere in this immediate area.
Yeah, I wonder. I would say like maybe one of the like sniper perch guys in the first canyon area, but I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah. For the sake of the marathon, I'll just keep going. I'm usually pretty consistent about getting everything, but sometimes that happens. So in this level, you would think whenever I was routing this, I was thinking that I could just do the same route I do in any percent, where we skip over the bridge, because I figured, you know, if an enemy never spawns in, then he doesn't count towards the in-game kill counter, right?
Right, but the difference is like some of these infected guys, they're already spawned in. They're just like laying on the ground playing dead, and then some of them don't even exist, and then they just get activated. So the ones that don't exist at all, like the ones that spawn at the bridge, those ones don't count towards your kill total. But the ones that are already activated in the map, the first one you killed that's laying in the bush, he's one of those. Like if you crouch down in the bush, I think you can see his body laying there.
Okay, check my kill count. It's at 18. That's all of them in this area, so we can move on. Now we're looking to get 23 here. Okay, that's 23.
So I don't know if it's part of the routing or not, but once you step inside that building, all of the infected and the cultists aggro on each other, and assuming they don't see you first. So it could probably... I assume they would eventually kill each other, but it might be faster to just run in there and blow them up.
Yeah, and especially grabbing the upgraded Sten, because it's the same... a saying we have in the speedrunning community, then is friend. So we upgrade this thing for for damage, and yeah, you could just rack up headshots really quickly. No stragglers. All right, that's everybody. There's a ton of zombies in this next area, so I prepare what called a Molamite.
Yeah, good old Molamite. Duct tape TNT to a Molotov.
I got a little banged up there, but I'll be alright. Probably make him spawn first before I do that. He's stuck on something. And there he goes. Yeah,
Very
Jason,
flammable.
as Jason was telling me earlier in our little practice runs, don't expect to kill them that fast in the current patch. I'm playing on a down patch version for some various skips, and enemies like that are way more susceptible to fire.
Yeah, it was a little ridiculous how, like, most of the spongier, like, infected creature type enemies are more susceptible to fire, so it's a good way to save ammo if you don't want to try to burn through their tanky HP. But some of them were a little too susceptible to fire.
Right, that's 100%. Like I was saying earlier, lanterns are, well, when you actually hit things, lanterns are very good.
Be kind of a in the new patch that I'm getting ready to or the update I'm getting ready to release. There's an ambient light slider to restore some of the original moodiness the game had back in the earlier demos, and it reminds me of I don't know if you've played Super Metroid, but you've got those rooms where you've got like enemies that produce light, and if you touch them or shoot them, then they die, and then that light goes away. So you kind of have to decide, like, do you want to try to avoid them or just knock them out and deal with the lower light level? And lanterns are kind of like that if you're playing with the ambient light turned down, because you really need those extra lights.
We're burning through a lot of ammo, so that's why when it's right there in my path, I always grab it whenever I can.
This
There's
room
always-
is crazy if you're playing the randomizer. It's like you just get like a ton of bullet enemies, and this room is not designed for bullet enemies.
I have yet to try that out. I really need to.
It's not very balanced, but it is pretty crazy. I've been playing the RE4 randomizer a whole lot lately. That is a lot of fun.
Which I don't think we mentioned at the start of our run today. Yeah. Speaking of RE4, this that game was a major influence for CULTIC.
Oh yeah. And now you see they're ripping off CULTIC with this RE4 remake that's coming out. Can't believe it.
See, but that lantern is quite literally every fire and forget.
Oh man, every time you make that jump, it makes me clench up. This room, one of the custom difficulty settings is you can turn up the amount of force that enemy bullets apply to you. And if you crank that way up, that room is hard. You just constantly get launched into the abyss.
I did grab the key.
Just speaking of RE4, I've running into a huge dilemma because my game releases on the same day as my fiance's birthday. I got a really tough decision to make.
Trade carefully. I prepared another Molamite.
Man, I should have had Makeshift do a Molamite plushie. That would have been dope. That was a tough choice, trying to figure out what I wanted to... A Ghost plushie was the runner-up on the community vote. Well, I guess they quite literally tied, and then I just made an executive decision.
And it's 100%.
Woohoo! Maybe
Alright,
you could maybe you can kill one extra enemy on the next map, or on the first boss, to make up for the one that you missed in in Shipyard.
Right. So let's start here. I'm going to grab 2 upgrades that allow me to shoot faster with these 2 specific weapons, the lever action and the sawed-off.
I can't believe you didn't inspect that skeleton's penis.
Oh, I'm sorry, what?
You can inspect that skeleton in the coffin, and you make a comment about, like, that's one less cultist or something like that. But the position for the interaction marker is like right on his groin. And I was like, oh, I gotta leave that in. I can't possibly take that out.
That's things that could not be brought up in GDQ.
Oh yeah, whoops. I guess I should have thought about that.
You're fine.
I really appreciate how much you do TNT quick tossing in this run, because it's kind of like an underutilized, underrated feature, and it's probably one of the features in CULTIC that I'm most proud of, is being able to you can if you look at the bottom right corner, you can see there's a TNT icon with the Z key, and without having to equip dynamite, you can just quickly chuck one out with your offhand, and then just shoot it to blow it up. And the hitbox on it is really generous, so smacking it with the shotgun is super easy.
I knew when you previewed that on your Twitter that the moment I saw that I was like, oh, this is gonna be useful for for speed running. I almost said PvP.
That would be pretty funny too. Deathmatch with people just quick TNTing each other.
There we go. Okay, gotta finish off this pesky ghost over here.
He's just hanging out. And now he's dead.
Again, just completely disrespecting these enemies.
Poor guy. He never stood a chance. Man, it's crazy. In the new patch, these areas are so much darker. Actually, kind of have to use your flashlight a little bit. You didn't even grab the flashlight. Skipped right over that.
Yeah.
I think it gives it to you by default at the beginning of the next map. They probably should have thrown up a content warning for these skeletons, not for the faint of heart.
Alright. This isn't a secret in here, but there's so much ammo, so I always come in here and grab it just to restock. Like I said before, being that we kill absolutely everything, we burn through a lot of ammo.
That secret that Wolf just grabbed, I literally completely forgot it was in the game. When I was doing just like a dev stream the other day, playing through the build, and I think you were in chat, and you were like, "You're not going to grab the grenade launcher?" And I was like, "There's no grenade launcher in this map." And then you said there was, and I was like, "Oh no!" Completely forgot that was there.
Backseating the dev.
How could you?
Did he just lose interest in me and turn his back to me?
He didn't care anymore. It's actually like a really elusive bug that I still haven't figured out what causes it, but it's like if you basically like damage an enemy to within an inch of their life with like a really powerful attack, for whatever reason it just like will sometimes just make them de-aggro. Like it's funny to watch because it's like you hit them so hard they just like forget what they're doing and where they are. I think it has something to do with like there's the enemy hit or the enemy damage code is kind of messy, and I really need to go clean it up. But I think there's got to just be some like overlap edge case where if an enemy is at like 1 HP, then something's going sideways. But I'm not really sure. I can't ever replicate it reliably.
Oh yeah, if you really wanna.
Oh my god!
I still win though.
I've never seen you fall off the elevator before. That was great.
As long as it's fading out, I'm okay. Yeah, right now I'm gonna grab the slam fire and the extended magazine. Oops, I'm not done yet. The slam fire will allow you to shoot faster, and of course, extended magazine self-explanatory. The FG42 I grabbed a damage upgrade and the scope, and those will be the last upgrades I get for the entire run. I've set down exactly 7 TNT because we're gonna fight off waves of enemies here. If Jason, you would like to explain this part?
Yeah, so this boss fight is in 2 parts. The first part being kind of a wave-based encounter. And it's kind of like the first big test of all the players' skills because the enemies are coming to you, so you kind of have to think on your feet and swat. It's very much basically like the survival mode. And then after 3 waves of randomly spawning enemies, you fight the actual boss, which is a tank, which will be a very short fight with this particular strategy. I'm not really like I'm very much the kind of person. I'm not like a huge fan of like lengthy boss fights in games, which is why like I'm a big proponent of like using cheese strategies on bosses, because I feel like the spectacle of the fight the first time you play it is what's the most enjoyable, and after that it's just kind of a really time-consuming fight in most cases. So it's always cool, you know, like I feel like Resident Evil 4 kind of has that. All the bosses have some kind of cheese strategy that whether it's just like spamming frag grenades on Sadler or camping up in the rafters for Mendez. You know, it's like I already played it the right way once, and it's kind of cool to see how you can game the system and maximize your, or rather minimize your like resource usage. The tank also has a kind of like a super secret weak point that you can, if you're trying to save ammo, which I play the game very economically, so I'm always saving ammo. It's nice to use the weak point as opposed to using up your TNT or your frag shells.
Oh, and a harvester.
So a good strategy with the harvesters, if you aren't getting peppered from another enemy, is after you throw a Molotov at them, is just like keep on walking up to them so they start their attack and then dash out of the way. Because every time they attack, they stand still, and that keeps them in the fire longer, which increases your chances of them going up in flames with just a single Molotov.
Right, checkpoint.
The tank is gone.
Yeah, this is the level that introduces the sharpshooter, but we just moved too fast for them to ever be a problem.
Yeah, I imagine they probably weren't briefed on CULTIC guys' extreme speed when they joined up. Tracking a target like that through a scope would be not a great time.
That was not intentional. I did not mean to slip off. So due to the level design of this this particular map, it can make hunting down every enemy, especially in the last area, it can be kind of difficult to find everything.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, especially if a stray shot or something wakes an enemy up really far away and then they just spend like 10 minutes pathfinding around the map.
But I've spent a good deal of time figuring out the best route for this. So hitting that switch is mandatory, and it'll cause those two shotgunners and this sharpshooter spawn as well, I think, as well as this grenade launcher guy.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny, those enemies, the sharpshooter and the grenade launcher cultists are both positioned to attack you if you jump down into the water. And if you take the stairs back down, you get the drop on them. But if you jump down into the water, which is so enticing, then they actually... then they'll engage with you as soon as you drop down.
But I just did there is actually one skip that works in this category. Normally there's a switch you have to hit that spawns a few enemies, but that's one we can actually just skip entirely. It won't count towards the total kills. So as long as they never spawn, then we don't have to worry about them. I'm gonna make my way through the trench here. There's gonna be several of these to clear out. So I was kind of lost in this hedge maze until somebody in my chat realized just follow the blood trail.
Yep. Yep. There's a lot of goodies in the maze to grab if you explore every path, but the main path is yeah, just follow the blood. Nice dodge.
I went a complete circle around. Next one is right here.
I forgot there's only 2 of these guys on casual. I think on maybe hard and above, there's 3 of them total in there. And you kind of have to race to kill the first one, otherwise you have 2 of them on you at the same time, and that can be a little rough.
Since you're here, those 2 shield guys, when do they spawn? Because they were not there on my way in.
I don't think they do spawn. I'm pretty sure the only thing that spawns in the hedge maze is just the harvesters. So it's possible they just followed you, because there's 2 shield guys that are in that alcove right in front of you. That kind of connects the inner courtyard to the outside. There's shield guys in there, so I wonder if one of them just woke up, decided to come hang out. I imagine this category would be extremely hard on extreme difficulty, just with like the tripled damage and the higher enemy counts and enemy aggression. Do a nice tank shot.
Nice. Now, blow open those boxes for this one lonely ballistic armor plate.
It's like my favorite gag in the entire game. It's like pretty much every semi-truck in the game that's open, there's like some boxes you break and there's usually a pretty good goodie behind it, but in that box there's like 16 boxes you have to break and one single armor plate at the end of it.
How are you still alive?
Being able to stack up explosives and chain react them all was a big, one of the big Killing Floor 1 influences. It's like one of my favorite things to do in that game is stacking up frag grenades. It's super satisfying. So being able to do that with the China Lake and everything this is another secret I always forget about. That's a shame because it's a really good one. Lots of good stuff in there.
And that's 100%. One ghost hiding out in this room.
So yeah,
like
this you woke up the guys in the attic. That's
yeah, it happens sometimes. I don't know how.
Huh.
Other times they don't notice. But yeah, this is the point in the game where you start seeing the enhanced cultists. All the ones with the glowing red aura around them. They pretty much have every stat increased.
Yeah, they are boogers. Especially the shotgun guys. They pop off those 2 shots so quickly. This is another secret I always forget is here. The cooler back there. Or maybe it's not I guess it's not a secret, but just something I forget is there. The cafeteria area.
If it weren't for those two enemies, I would probably never even go in there.
Good old incinerator.
Not so effective against knights.
Yeah, they don't care about it too much.
Okay, that's everybody on that. Nope. There we go. Let's see, got the ghost. And that guy took care of him for me.
That was really nice of him. Oof. Nice jump. Don't forget, hit the bell. Thank you.
So, I'd like to tell the story about the...
Yeah, it's like the funnest of the fun facts about CULTIC is that this whole like asylum like burning down thing, I added this like 6 hours before the game launched. I was doing like one last little playthrough on launch day, and I was like, man, with the incinerators that spawn in here, spraying their flamethrowers everywhere, it'd be so cool if it was just like they're just going like scorched earth and just like burning the place down. So actually, anybody who got like a review key for the game and played it before launch actually didn't see this scene. It was just the asylum was just dark like it was before. A little bonus for the community getting to experience that first.
Alright, and that is 100%.
Nice.
This is probably, in terms of keeping up with all the kills, this area right here at the start is probably the hardest in this category.
Yeah, people like to run around, and this is a pretty big open area for enemies to pathfind around, so it can be kind of hard to keep track of where they ran off to.
I didn't quite get the tank kill.
He was going for a fireball on you too. It's a good thing you stunned him out of it. Changed his mind. Whew, man. I was saying in practice, I never buy the fire rate upgrade for the lever action, so I always forget how fast the alt fire is with it on. Something I was messing around with, well, it's technically still in the game, it's just like commented out, was those sharpshooters have an alternate attack where they like shoot a flare up into the air, and it like alerts everybody in the area. And so it was kind of like a reason to prioritize the sharpshooters even more. But it was like they did it so fast. It was really hard to tell what they were doing, or like tell the player that they needed to prioritize them without like putting a big like flashing thing on the screen or something. And there just weren't that many areas that the sharpshooters are even in a position to wake other enemies up, so I wound up taking it back out.
I remember that tweet.
I forgot that cache was there. I don't even know if that one's a secret, is it? It's just stuff.
Nope. gonna burn their dog. So there's the pen they kept them in.
And the beware of dog sign.
And wake up the knights, and draw off those guys.
But yeah, the flare gun thing was cool. But it's like in a game like Far Cry, where you have like enemies that can like summon reinforcements. They have like usually like a really long wind up and like a big icon over their head letting you know where they are, or like a notification that's like an enemy's calling for backup. And CULTIC's just like not the kind of game to have that much information on the screen being thrown at the player. So I just wound up taking it back out.
Yeah, with a quick check, I saw that was... You want to get 72 before you enter into this area.
Oh no, are you gonna bully the lava guy?
Have to.
Oh, poor guy. I always kick him into the lava. Nice.
And this is like the one time I'm gonna use a quick save because I could get knocked off into the lava here. Other than checkpoints, I haven't been using a single safety save.
Keeping things high tension.
That appears to be everything.
The way the incinerator works was inspired a lot by I guess I don't know if it works this way anymore, but in the earlier Killing Floor 2 days, if you played as like the firebug class, there was a perk you could grab called ground fire that basically, like, if you were spraying flame weapons at the floor, it did a lot more damage. And so having flame be treated like a fluid rather than just like a puff of air in front of the player is always feels a lot better to me. So it's kind of made the incinerator very much more of like a liquid napalm kind of launcher than like a... I guess it's kind of like... And Turok 2's flamethrower is the same way. I really always liked how that one worked. Need to actually beat Turok 2 at some point. I've been playing it since I was...
Excuse me?
Yeah, I get lost in the caves every time and then give up. So I need to just like play it with a guide or something and make it through there. It's so confusing. Oh, initially, so I've been playing it since I was a kid. Like, used to play Turok 2 Deathmatch all the time. And I didn't ever beat the campaign as a kid because the spiders that show up in the River of Souls level like freaked me out. I don't like spiders in real life, but something about the spiders in Turok really like waked me out as a kid. Not as big a deal as an adult. The only spiders in games now that like really freak me out are the spiders in Satisfactory. I hate them. I have to play with arachnophobia mode turned on in that game. You probably won't ever see a spider enemy in CULTIC, just FYI.
And that is 100%.
Oh, nice. Past the fake fog.
Right, so time's gonna be coming up pretty soon here. This fight would go really quick. It's done in 3 phases. We gotta drop the shield first. Then the chest will open up. Then we repeat.
And on casual, you can really just tank all the shots from the ads, too. 31 dynamite.
And time.
Very nice. Nicely done.
I'll wait for the sound glitch.
It's fixed now. I fixed it. It's so loud. That's fixed in the next update too. And
So
the toilet breaking sound too.
Every level but one is 100% kills. But that was all the secrets. But yeah, that's all of my runs I've got for this event. I want to thank you again, Shots Fired, for having me. If you would like to learn this game, Haste, the world record holder, has a guide for any percent and any percent inbounds. This category, I'm sure anybody could learn simply by watching. It's a matter of learning where everything is. But yeah, if you would like to check me out on Twitch, it's chaos_wolf. And yeah, Jason, you got any final words?
I don't. That was I'm just honestly impressed that my stomach held up this whole time. That was great. I was really worried I was going to miss the stream. But yeah, thanks for submitting the game. It's always fun to see it get speedrun, and always fun to join for commentary.
Thank you.